What's up, guys? This is AP iPhone Help, and as you know, Apple's event was on last Tuesday, October 22nd, and this is basically just the recap of the whole event. They did announce a lot of stuff, so this might be a little bit long of a video, but just try to keep with me as I basically recap everything that Apple announced at the event. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that Apple talked about was OS X Mavericks, and great news for you guys or Mac users. This is 100% free. You can go download it right now, upgrade, using the Mac App Store, and you get it 100% free, and it is definitely worth the upgrade. Alright, so the number one thing that Apple stressed upon with OS X Mavericks is being more efficient. They do this by doing the compressed memory, and basically all that does is it takes the thing that you're working on at that instance in time and puts the memory there versus the stuff that's in the background. So say you're working in iPhoto or whatever, it's going to use the memory and the battery and the graphics and use all that for iPhoto versus the stuff that's running in the background. Say you have your internet open in the background, it's not really going to use that towards the internet because you're not actually using the internet at that time. This is what Apple is calling compressed memory, and I definitely see it as a great upgrade, especially with the iMacs. I don't know if you guys remember, but the iMacs have this great thing where it uses a solid state drive and a regular hard disk drive. So using Mavericks and that iMac with the solid state / hard disk, you're just going to get amazing speeds and amazingly fast program responses. So since this is saving on all of your memory and your graphics and all that stuff, it's definitely going to save on your battery because it won't be using as much computer usage towards the programs in the background as it was before. Alright, so the next thing in Mavericks is the notification system, which is a little bit different. Basically, when you get a notification now, you have to go and open the app to go in, maybe like messages or something like that. You have to go into messages, reply back if that's how you reply. Well, now you don't really have to do that. You can just reply right in the notification and close it from there. It's really easy, and it makes life a little bit easier when you're replying to or using the notifications app or anything like that in OS X Mavericks. So I definitely like that. And the last thing is they integrated a new Maps into Mavericks. It's basically like the Maps that's on your iPhone or iOS device, but you can look for certain things on your computer, so it's a lot faster, and send the directions over to your iPhone. That way, if you're at home, let's go out to eat, you look out places to eat, find the address on the Maps app, and then you just send it to your iPhone, gets directions, and takes you right there. Great functionality in the design of the new Maps app, especially with talking to the iPhone, your computer talking to the iPhone. So I definitely think that's a great thing to look for when you're downloading the OS X Mavericks, which again is 100% free, so I would definitely go over and download that as soon as you're done watching this video. Alright, so now let's talk about the MacBook Pro. This is the second thing that was on Apple's list of multiple things that they announced at the event, and the main thing about the MacBook Pro is they're basically just going to be selling the MacBook Pro Retina display. Since the Retina display did get a little bit cheaper for them to produce, I'm pretty sure that's the way it looks. The MacBook Pro is just going to be available in Retina display, but don't worry because the price did drop down $200, so you're basically paying the same that you would for a regular MacBook Pro for the MacBook Pro Retina display, which is the $1,299.99 for the baseline model. And the baseline model includes the Haswell chip, which makes it about 90% faster than the previous generation MacBook Pro. Like I said, it's the 13-inch, $1299. Has the Retina display, 4 gig RAM, upgradable to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So that upgrade is really nice. I wish that I would have had that upgrade with my my MacBook Pro, because I only have that 4 gigs of RAM. It's using Iris graphics, and the baseline model comes with 128 gigabytes of hard drive, and that hard drive is an SSD, so it is going to be a lot faster and a lot, it made for the MacBook Pro to be a lot thinner than the previous models. Alright, so that is obviously not the only model of the MacBook Pro that is being released. Obviously you can upgrade the 13-inch, or you can even upgrade to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. I don't think they're going to really have the 17-inch, definitely not in Retina display at least. But the 15-inch comes baseline at $1,999.99, so that is a little bit pricey. But you do get a nice upgrade for the 15-inch. You get the Crystal Well chip, which is a lot faster than the previous models. You get a 2 gigahertz quad-core i7 processor with 8 gigs RAM stock, the Iris Pro graphics, and the 256 gigabyte SSD, which if you got the baseline model 13-inch before, you would get the 250 gig hard drive. So this 256 gig SSD, yeah, it's alright. Hopefully we can upgrade it a little bit, to a little bit bigger of an SSD, but it definitely does, have enough space for the average user. Granted, the average user isn't doing, a lot of large file usage. So this MacBook Pro is definitely a nice upgrade. Obviously you can upgrade it further out on Apple's website, and again, this one is shipping today, so you head on over to apple.com to order yours now. Alright, so the next on the list of things that Apple announced on Tuesday is the Mac Pro, and this is a beast of a computer. We saw a couple little teasers here and there back at a couple events ago, but this thing is just awesome. The way it looks is just so nice. It was such nicely crafted, and it just looks amazing. It's a lot smaller than the previous generation, obviously you can see that here, but the way everything looks on this Mac Pro is just awesome. It looks like it could just fit in anywhere. You could literally just place it anywhere you want, and it just fits in, wherever at the office, or at the workplace or whatever. So this is a really, really nice looking Mac Pro, and the tech specs are on par. I mean, these are amazing tech specs. Obviously the baseline is the Intel Xeon E5 processor. You can either get the quad, 6, 8, or 12 core processor. Obviously, they keep on going up with price, but that is amazing. The 12 core processor, you're not going to get anything much faster than that. I mean, it's just going to completely blow your mind with the amount of speed that you're going to get. You have up to 3 megabyte L3 cache, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, which the RAM could be upgraded to 16 gigs, but I mean, if you're having a 6 core processor, it doesn't really matter, because it's still going to be unbelievably fast. And then for the capacity, everything is going to be flash, so they are offering a 1 terabyte SSD as a stock. This comes with the baseline model Mac Pro, which a terabyte of space is, nowadays it's a nice amount of space, but an SSD terabyte is a big deal. SSDs are not cheap, to say the least. So the a terabyte SSD is going to cost a lot, but it is being included in the baseline Mac Pro, which is going to cost a lot. I mean, all these tech specs are just phenomenal, and they do come with a price, and that price is $3,000. That is the baseline price, and obviously it just keeps on going up and up and up from there, because the Mac Pro is just a beast of a computer, and you're gonna pay for a beast of a computer, basically. But they do offer the baseline for $3,000, so that's not too bad. For the Mac Pro. It could be a little bit better though. Alright, so the main thing that I do like with the Mac Pro though is that it was designed and it is being manufactured 100% in the USA. So Apple is using all of the United States employees getting a couple things together in the United States, and bringing factories together and creating the Mac Pros all in the USA. Alright, so after Apple released the Mac Pro, they basically just spent a little bit of time discussing the new iLife and the new iWork that's going to be shipped with every single new Mac and new iPhone and all that kind of stuff. The greatest thing about all of the iWork and iLife programs is that they're all 100% free on every single device that you buy new. So I'm not sure if they're going to be free just getting them off the App Store. They might be, I'm pretty sure they are. But they definitely are 100% free with every new device that you're going to be buying, and you get the upgrade after upgrade after upgrade from the iLife and iWork programs. The iLife programs are what really hit it off. The new GarageBand, the new iMovie, and the new iPhoto are just amazing. I would definitely go check them out, download them. Whatever you want to do, just check them out. They just look really, really nice. They're very, very nicely crafted with the software, and they just have some nice features, like in iPhoto. Now on the iPad you can order an iBook, or basically a photo scrapbook that you create using your iPad. You've always been able to do this on the iPhoto on the Mac, but now you can do it on your iPad, which a lot of people only have. They don't really have a Mac, they just have an iPad. So this is a really nice feature that they added, and I definitely enjoy it. And then with GarageBand, they added this really nice feature where there's a drummer that you can control. It's like a computerized drummer-ish, and he just plays along with your band. So that's kind of cool. I like the fact that they added some customizable instruments in there, and hopefully they'll keep on adding more instruments to that automated drummer or whatever, automated guitarist, automated singer, all that kind of stuff. It'll be pretty cool to see where they go with that. But that's basically it for iWork and iLife. They didn't really spend too much time on it because they wanted to get to the star of the show, which are the new iPads. There was a new iPad, like the bigger iPad, and then there was a new iPad mini. The first one I'm going to talk about is the new bigger iPad, which they're calling the iPad Air. Tim Cook, you really kind of got to get your stuff together, because last time you told us that you weren't calling it the iPad 4th generation, you're just calling it iPad. There was no name for it. Well, now you're calling it iPad Air. It's a little confusing. I'm not a big fan of the name, although I do understand why it's called the iPad Air, because it is 20% thinner than the previous generation iPad, and only 0.4 pounds lighter. So it's only 1 pound and I think 7.2 millimeters thick. That's amazing how they were able to get it down to that, and the way that they describe the feeling of the iPad in your hands is so much different than the the 4th generation or the 3rd generation iPads. But the name just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't fit right with me for some reason. Alright, so for the tech specs, the new iPad Air is going to have the A7 chip, which is the same chip that's in the iPhone 5S. It's going to have also the M7 motion processor chip, which is basically just for motion. It's going to have a better accelerometer, all that kind of good stuff with it. With that, it will have faster Wi-Fi, a 5 megapixel iSight camera, so that's a back-facing camera. It's going to have a new FaceTime camera, 1080p HD video, and dual microphones. It is going to come in space gray and silver/white, so it kind of bumps me out that we're not going to see a gold or a champagne colored iPad, but I mean, the iPhone 5S has that, and they are in very, very, very high demand right now. So it kind of makes sense. They just want to get these space gray and white/gold ones out there as soon as they can. And as for pricing, it's going to be $499 for the 16GB model, and it's going to keep on rising in price for that. And and that is for the Wi-Fi, obviously. For the cellular, it is going to be $629 for the 16 gigabyte and keep rising, obviously, after that. Now, the thing that I don't understand is they kind of discontinued the iPad 4th generation and 3rd generation. I mean, they had already discontinued the 3rd generation, but they discontinued the one with the Retina display, except for the Air, obviously. So they are selling the iPad 2, which was 2.5 years old, and the iPad Air. Not sure if I understand the marketing there. I mean, obviously Apple has a marketing, department in their company, so I'd have to just look into seeing why that makes sense. But that's what they're doing, and the iPad 2 can be bought for $399, but do not buy the iPad 2 for $399 because it's not worth $399. I mean, it doesn't have the Retina display, it doesn't have just things that it doesn't have, is just so not worth $400. You just suck it up and use that extra $100 and get the iPad Air, because it's going to be so much more worth the extra $100 than it is to buy a $400 iPad 2. Alright, and the iPad mini has been upgraded as well. Basically, everyone knew that it was getting the Retina display, and that's kind of the main upgrade with the iPad mini. It does have the A7 chip. It is not going to have the M7 motion processor though, which kind of bums me out. They could have went the extra mile and put that on there, but Apple didn't do that. I'm not sure why. But it's going to have the faster Wi-Fi, the 5 megapixel iSight camera, 1080 HD video, the new FaceTime camera, and it is going to come in the silver/white and the space gray models. And the best thing is it's going to have a 10-hour battery life, so this battery life is definitely going to keep the iPad mini definitely relevant. But 10-hour battery life is really good, and I've noticed with iPads that the battery life stays that 10 hours or that 9 hours or 8 hours or whatever they say it's going to stay. Like, I've had my iPad for a year or so now, and it stays where it says it's going to stay. It's something that I definitely like about the iPads, and I definitely can trust the battery life on the iPads. So I believe it's definitely going to be the full 10-hour battery life on that. Now, to talk with price, the 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi only iPad mini is going to start at $399. So they did raise it up from $329, but they did have to pay for the Retina display. So I kind of understand it, but for $399 you're getting the iPad mini with Retina display. Yeah, I don't know. I would just spend the extra $100, get the iPad Air, unless you do want the mini. Which a lot of people do want, so I would definitely understand, people who want the actual mini iPad. But the iPad mini original can also be bought for $299, so that's being $30 less. So they kind of went cheap with that. They could have put it for maybe $150 or $250, but they only did it for $300. And all of the iPads that I have discussed are going to come into 16, 32, 64, and 128 gig models, which I see next year getting rid of the 16 gig, most likely getting rid of the 16 gig, I should say, hopefully getting rid of the 16 gig, but the 32, 64, and 128 gigs are just awesome to have. If you can spend that extra money to get them. Alright, and the new iPads are going to be available on November 1st. I'm not sure if you can pre-order them or not. Check out Apple's website, apple.com. And that's basically the entire event in a recap. So, make sure you guys are subscribing to my YouTube channel, API Phone Help, and check out my new website. I did just get a website, so I've been in the process of building it. I built it from scratch from myself. It is apiphonehelp.com. Just click this link right here. Go check it out. It's not finished at all. The homepage is kind of almost finished, contact page will be almost finished, but it's not finished yet. Don't worry, it will be finished. It will be finished within the month. But go check it out, ap-help.com, and let me know what you think. It's a work in progress, obviously, and it's not going to be any better without your guys' feedback on it. So just let me know what you think in a comment down below, or private message me, whatever you have to do. Or you can just email me, anthony@ap-help.com, which is, right here. This is my email address. Go check it out. Tell me what you guys think. That's basically it. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do have a Facebook and a Twitter. Go follow and like them if you would like. And I will catch you guys next week. Peace.